TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors, is brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tom Gruenwald Outdoors. I'm Tom Gruenwald and today we're fishing on beautiful Devil's Lake, North Dakota. There's an unbelievable history to this lake. Just in the last couple of decades, because there's no natural outlet, this lake has risen and all of the snow, the rain, basically the runoff has filled this lake up and expanded it. And that's made an incredibly fertile fishery. And one of the things it supports as a forage base is a freshwater shrimp, or scuds. And there are literally thousands of these things. You can even see them when you drill holes sometimes when the ice chips come up, and you'll see those little freshwater shrimp in the ice chips. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come out here, we're gonna try catching some of these Devil's Lake perch and walleyes. I'm with Bob Kincaid. Now, Bob runs a guide service out of Ackerman Acres Resort. It's here on the east side of Devil's Lake. So we're out in a large area called East Bay. Now, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of my usual sonar that I'm using to locate these fish, find the structures, we're going to be using Bob's underwater camera system. And if you're not familiar with underwater cameras, this is going to be a fascinating show for you. I mean, I think more and more people are using these now and understand the applications. But today, we're going to use just the underwater cameras to drop down, find fish, and watch those fish as they react to our presentations. These are really a neat system. If you haven't used them before, you're going to learn a lot today. It is really a fun way to fish. You actually see the fish come in, you watch them react on your lure, and you can see details that you can't when you're using your sonar. So we'll be doing that today with Bob. So join us as we fish underwater camera systems on Devil's Lake for perch and walleye right here on TGO. Not quite. Almost had
Yeah, that
was close.
I mean, this is as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I hope you catch him, but
He's still coming. He's not going away.
that's not that big a fish. It's
No,
a
it's
10-incher, but and I say that to people from like the Detroit Lakes area, Moorhead, Detroit Lakes. What do you mean? We'd kill for a fish over 7 inches.
There, I got him. All right. That's a walleye. That one came in and he sucked that run right up. It's funny how you 4, 5, 6 fish, Bob, and they don't do anything, and then all of a sudden,
Yep.
then that one that's hungry comes in. There we go. There's a Devil's Lake walleye. All right, he came in. He ate that new lure, Bob.
Yep.
That one he liked. That one he liked. And that had the combination of the minnow and the waxworm. And there we go. And these are a lot of fun. I mean, that's not a big walleye, of course, but just a lot of fun to be able to come out here and jig. And here it is. It's 10:30 in the morning. We've got bright, sunny skies, but this water is a little stirred up and turbid, and that is allowing us to continue to catch walleyes even during the middle of the day. And what's the limit here on Devil's Lake on the walleyes?
There's just a bag limit of 5, but there's no slot limit.
No size.
Anything is.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's a nice fish year round, to take home and cook.
Well, we'll keep that one. Put that one on ice. I still got my waxworm, but I'll put that minnow back on there. And now we've got the waxworm, and we're doing this combination here. And all we're doing is just hanging the minnow, just kind of putting it through the head, Bob, like that.
Yep, head, lips. Just don't want to kill it.
And just so you get that action. So now when I let that bait sit like I am, I'm using the noise, the flash, the vibration of this bait to draw the fish in. Once I'm seeing them here on this underwater camera, I'm not really moving this thing. I might lift it very slowly a little bit or drop it down toward the bottom just a little bit, but I'll tell you what, almost any movement at all is really spooking these fish. So I'm gonna be able to use the natural movement of the minnow to actually trigger the fish once I brought them in.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com. And now, TGO Tackle Tips with Tom.
I just want to stop and show you one of these underwater camera systems that Bob's using. They're really pretty simple. They consist of a lens, and that lens is attached to a 40 or a 50-foot cable so that you can lower the lens down into the water. Now, depending on water clarity and the light conditions, obviously, you could drop, presumably, that lens down to that depth, 40 or 50 feet, and be able to see your lure and the fish down there. I mean, really see them. It's not like sonar where it's a representation of your lure and the fish. You actually look down there, you can see what species of fish is, you can kind of tell what size it is. By looking at this, you can tell direction that the fish are coming from and moving in. And it's just like watching this on TV. You're actually seeing your lure and the fish and watching them respond. If they just grab the tail of the minnow, they just grab the head, or they just nip at your jig, or if they come in and they really slam it, you get to see the whole thing happening right there on your screen, which is where the image from that lens is projected. Comes back to this screen. I can watch my lure drop down. I can watch how my lure's moving, watch fish come in, watch how they react. Not only can you watch the presentation of the fish, but you'll get a depth reading, and you'll also get the water temperature, and that can be an important factor and a variable too. Obviously, the water's going to run anywhere from just over 32 degrees to about 39 degrees, which is the maximum density of water. That's what you're going to see down there in the wintertime. And sometimes those temperature differences can make a difference in where fish are and how active they are as well. And that's something you can learn about and monitor by actually watching that on the screen as well. So a little different system, adds a little new dimension to the type of fishing that we're doing. Sonar's effective and works great, and in some conditions, an underwater camera provides another option. We'll learn more about that from Bob here today. Moving in. There we go. All he did was drop that shaker spoon right down. Got right down to the bottom and just started.
He would have come out if you hadn't played him just right.
Yeah. I took the bait, dropped it straight down to the bottom, and just jiggled it and wiggled it off the bottom. That fish came in, boom, and sucked in and beat it up right off of the bottom. It's not a giant perch at all, but
he's showing off.
Perfect, yeah. That is perfect eating size. They're a lot of fun to catch, and there are thousands of perch this size in Devil's Lake. If you like to catch yellow perch, I'll tell you what, it's one of the best places in the world to come out and do it. And you've still got a chance at a really big perch out here yet too. All right, well, we'll drop this one in the bucket. Go back down and see if we can catch some more. Fun. Oh, there you go. There you go.
There, got him on that new lure. Oh, not even my rod.
Trying out my little rascal there, that Gary Snyder bait, huh?
Oh.
Whoa!
That's what you call hole diving for a walleye. Pretty good for a fat old man like me.
That's just how they do it in the Dakotas, huh?
Good pay to have that.
Okay. Now, once you get seated there again, we'll show our viewers what we caught that one on.
As soon as I get rid of my two Charlie horses, I got doing that.
Bob just gave me his rod because he's got a new lure on there. It's bent. You can kind of work the bottom. And I said, let's just trade off here and see what happens. So I gave him my lure, and this is a new design a friend of mine, Gary Snyder, designed from Snyder Lures. This one, I believe he calls the Little Rascal. A little bigger version of that he calls the Big Shaker, but it's actually got two parts to the lure. There's two blades. That's pink and gold, and then he's got these flippers, two at the top and two at the base. And with these real finicky fish, it's just amazing. Those two little flicker blades are clicking and flashing. And I had some fish coming in and looking at those, and I think that's just a really super good design. And that's the one that the walleye hit for Bob.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of these back in October from him. and I've been just using the daylights out of them. I haven't had that good. This is actually the first fish I've caught on this one.
Yeah.
But everything else he sold me works really great, so I'm glad I got one on this one, even though I had to work for it.
That was quite the dance there, but all right. Oh, nice walleye coming in right now there. What do we got going? Oh yeah. That little walleye. Come here, girl. There we go.
Yeah, just look away a couple minutes.
That's all it takes, right? Stop and look at something else and kabang, there it is. And he came in there. Again, just a nice, nice fat size eater. People come out and they fish here and they're thinking about perch or walleyes. I mean, if that's a perch, those are two nice fillets, and boy, those are terrific eating. And there's no minimum here on Devil's Lake, so person come out here and get 5 walleyes like that, and that's more than enough. You got to be pretty hungry to be able to eat all those, right?
Yep. Just as a sidebar, where you've got your thumbs now,
yes.
Leave your thumb there and then come back to about right there. It's not uncommon to bring in fish that size in the summer that have walleye tooth mark, northern tooth mark that wide.
No kidding.
I'm not kidding. It happens just about every trip. That's a big northern.
And they do have some really big northerns here. Devil's Lake is known for the perch and walleyes, but there are some pike in here. I'll tell you what, I doubt I'm going to leave without putting some tip-ups down at least one day. If I can convince Bob here to fish for pike.
We can actually have a happy medium. We can go just a little bit north here, about 300 yards, and I can get you set up on a weed bed. And there's northerns in there, I'll guarantee. And then we'll fish off the other end of the snow bear for walleyes and perch.
Beautiful.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Yeah, maybe try a spoon or something different here. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Got it.
Good call on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that was fun. Didn't have to tease that one. This one was hungry. All right.
You've got that.
I switched back to the shaker
Okay,
spoon.
I'm going to
Yeah.
switch to the rascal.
I was all morning I'd been fishing with the jigging wrap, and they were hitting that. But I was using this spoon yesterday, and did pretty well in the afternoon. Now it could just be the afternoon bite was a little better, but I'll tell you, there's little flipper blades and stuff on that. It's really nice. I can work this bait real hard and let it flash and click, or I can just finesse it and just let those little flicker blades, those hammered flicker blades at the base and the top flicker, and it works for fussy fish or for the aggressive ones. And this one was hungry. Look at the markings here on the tail and on the fins, dorsal. You can see the white tip here. If you're not a walleye fisherman, not familiar with that white tip on the tail is a dead giveaway that you've caught a walleye. Pretty mix there of the gold and the gray mottles along the sides. The pretty white there on the anal fin. What a beautiful fish. We're gonna have some walleye fillets, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask, Bob, what got you started fishing with these underwater camera systems?
The reason for it basically is I've always wanted to have the best equipment for anything, be it hunting or fishing, that I could afford. If I couldn't have afforded to buy an $800 camera for one of my children not having shoes, or I'm being a little facetious, but I've always wanted to have the best, and it eliminates any excuse. I can't say, if I'd have had that better camera, I'd have caught bigger fish or more fish. If I'd have had a better shotgun, I'd have shot more ducks and geese. So I just wanted to have the best I could afford.
Sure, that makes sense. Oh, that's a nicer walleye for sure. Want me to help you?
Yeah, please. There we go.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
That's a pretty fish.
I just got done saying we would hit a dry spell.
They don't last for long on Devil's Lake.
Not hardly.
Nice.
That's good. That's good.
That's a nice fish. Yeah, Yeah, those are, and this is, now, obviously you get some fish that are 8, 10 pounds, whatever, but how often what's the ratio would you say of a fish like that when you come out here? 1 in 10? 1 in 20?
1 in 20, probably.
Okay.
Fairer number.
Excellent. This is really fun, and it's interesting to be able to watch these lures and the response when I've got them all baited up here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a couple of these lures that are favorites of Bob's, the jigging Rapala. One of them. Oh, yes! Okay, hang on there. I'm going to get your transducer out of the way. Okay, you're clear. You want help or you got him? Oh, that's a nicer walleye. You want help?
Yeah, please.
Fantastic. Look at that. Pretty.
That's about a 17 or 18.
Nice. Nice walleye.
You probably can't see this on the camera. Can you see what I'm looking at, Tom? That's an old scar from a northern.
Oh, sure, right
See
here.
where it's indented?
Yep. You can feel it on the side of that fish. Yep. Beautiful.
There.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Now watch your head there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one slammed it. I mean, all I saw was a flash on the side of my camera, and he just came in and cranked on that spoon.
No runs yet. That's a big, nice walleye.
Yeah, it was a nice fish. And that was not messing around. Not messing around at all.
There's a run, though. That makes me nervous.
All right, I just got his head turned. It's a nice walleye. We'll let him play a little bit there. Now, you don't have to gaff it. Just get its head turned, Bob, because you're going to planning to keep it?
Well,
Because if we're to let it go, don't gaff it.
well, I can get it in the lip. I'm pretty...
Okay.
It's a northern.
Oh, it's a pike. All right, well.
Well, you're a morning early, or a day early. Could you come back tomorrow?
I thought it looked like a walleye when it turned.
Yeah, I got fooled about a week ago.
Okay, well, we just got to get his head turned. I got only
Yeah, I
6
know.
pound mono on this thing, and it's a big fish. Here he comes. He got his head coming up. There you go. Now, see, I thought that when I saw that fish come flying in, it was a walleye.
Well, I got fooled
Fish
just
that
like...
size, if it would have been a walleye, it would have been a heck of a nice
Yeah, no kidding. Here, let me turn that. I got fooled about a week ago. It was so green that I would have swore it was like an 8 to 10 pound walleye turning under the hole.
players. Hemostats here. Well, I guess it makes sense the way that fish came storming in there. It was a lot more aggressive. A lot more so than we've seen with any of these perch or walleyes on this trip. Okay, now let go. There you go. Now that's fun. I'm using a light system here, 6 pound monofilament line, but I was real fortunate. That fish came in real hard and the hook just hit the corner of his mouth. So the blade of the lure was up against his teeth and the rough part. Nothing was down near any of the gill rakers or anything like that. So as a consequence, I was fortunate and I was able to get that fish in. A lot of times a big pike comes in like that and hits a light system like this. You have it on for a little while and it ends up breaking the line. But you'll notice I was taking drag. I have that AccuCast reel on here and I just had to loosen up the drag a little bit, let that fish go, and the importance of having that smooth drag, let the line out, and then the combination of the fact that we just hooked it right in the corner of the lip, which was just happenstance, but we'll take it. Nice fish, a lot of fun, and a lot of excitement. Again, Devil's Lake, pike and walleyes, but you might just catch something else while you're out here too, so that's fun. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. This has really been a fun trip here. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Hey, temperatures haven't been too bad, but as is very typical out here in the Dakotas, the wind's been blowing. Sitting here warm inside the snow bear has been really, really nice. I want to thank Bob Kincaid from Kinks Outdoors just for taking the time to spend a couple of days out here so we could fish for these perch and walleyes, just to have a really good time. And I have learned so much. And these underwater camera systems that you're using, Bob, it really is phenomenal. I can sit here, I'm jigging, because it's warm, I don't have to worry about my guides freezing or the line freezing up or anything. And I can sit and I can watch these fish come in, watch them react to my presentations, and see the whole thing. And I learned so much from watching how they're reacting, watching what's happening with my rod tip, watching what's happening with my line and the lures when they hit. And it's helping me so much to visualize what's happening down there below the ice. And I'll be able to use that in the future when I'm out fishing as well. But I want to thank Bob again from Kinks Outdoors for taking us out here. I want to also thank Neil and Roberta Ackerman from Ackerman Acres Resort. Hey, they got a very nice place there. They're right on the water. We'd get up in the morning, we'd walk over, the bait shop's right on the grounds. We could pick up our bait, get some sodas and snacks if we needed them, pick up a few of those special lures in the right sizes and colors, meet up with Bob, walk right out the door, get in the snow bear, and we're out here fishing. And within a half an hour, we're all set up. Underwater cameras are going, and we're jigging, and we're on fish. It's a great trip. Hey, from all of us here at TGO, I want to thank you for joining us today, and looking forward to seeing you again right here on TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.
TGO has been brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors. TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.